Good evening, everyone. How is it? How's it all going? Excuse me, I have business to attend to. Flake, by the way. Oh, dear me. I always say it, and I always mean it. The first gulp always tastes the best, doesn't it? Let's have a look and see who we've got in. We'll do the register, shall we? Johnny Random, first in. Congratulations, mate. Greenwave, Lee Morano, David Evans, Colin Falcon, Vincent Brennan, Patrick Becker, Peter Collins, Ian Rouse, Anton, how are you, mate? Raphael's in. The Essex Cat, and who we got? Pete McGowan, nice to see you back, mate. Ozzy's in. Who else we got? 60s Man, Ian Clark, Johnny Random's there again. Andy Hawk, Das Shaft, Johnny Love, Mike Hurley, Nigel Arthur, how are you, Nigel? Chip Young, Dave Lewis, and who else we got? Thomas Mulvaney. I hope, well, yes, we spoke, didn't we? You're cool with either Mulvaney or Mulvaney. Johnny Love, and who else is down here? Guitar Man, Pablo Hank, Eamon, Gerald Dowling, Sargi's in, and Dave Pegg. The usual suspects. Apologies if I missed your name while I was scrolling down there. All are welcome and all are appreciated. The shirt is on, by the way. There we go. Very, very kindly mocked up for me by Dave Lewis, I think it was, wasn't it? Wasn't it you, Dave? Because that's not your name on when you email me, so I often forget who you are in the chat. But yes, thank you so much. Mike from China Guitar Skeptic did me a sticker flake in it logo as well, and that is going to be on a t-shirt at some point along with this. Again, mad busy week. I can't tell you. It's I'm over 80 hours this week, and just, you know, trying to keep up with things like, oh, I must put that t-shirt up on Teespring, and then, you know, it's 10 o'clock on a night when I remember, and it's like I'm just ready for you know, some shut eye. So it will be going up, I promise you. Thank you. Let's give you pride of place there, Mike. Became a Patreon today. Well, thank you very much. It is massively appreciated. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. You are truly appreciated. Thank you so much. And to everyone else who supports me on Patreon. That's what I was doing, actually. Before the live stream, I was beavering away on the Patreon content that will be going live. You know, I do all the kind of the tabs and the backing tracks and everything for all the YouTube stuff that I do. But there's a monthly Patreon exclusive lesson and a podcast, and that's what I've been busying myself with today, is putting next month October's Patreon content together. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm not giving too much away, but I'm basically putting a full tune under the microscope for my patrons this coming month in October. The tune which made me want to learn to play the guitar in the first place. I'll say no, but more than that, if you've seen enough of me videos, you'll know exactly which piece of music that is. And just literally 5 minutes before I hit the go live button, I was recording the podcast. So Johnny Random says, oh bugger, I haven't listened to this month's podcast yet. Bought some new kit today. Jackson GS22 and Fender Champion 40 amp. Oh, there's nothing like new gear, is there? There's nothing like a new guitar or a new amp or both to get the old juices flowing, is there? What's that, Anton? John, there will be a market for XXL t-shirts down to the lockdown weight gains, mentioning for a mate. Oh yeah, okay, yes. Yeah, let's how do we do this? There we go. Yes, indeed, yes. Yeah, I think we've all put on a few pounds. I think it was that warm a few weeks ago that I dug the shorts out of the wardrobe, and somehow or other they'd shrunk in the wardrobe since I'd worn them last year. And Apache, says Nancy Davis. Yes, indeed, that is the. I'm doing a full breakdown of Apache on as an exclusive Patreon lesson for next month, and just thought I've played that tune for years, but getting it just right and getting it just kind of dialed in, you know, so that it sounds reasonably like the original is harder than you might think. Anyway, excuse me. So that's enough about what's on Patreon next month. Let's talk about what's on the channel next week. I almost forgot to do this last week and tell you about it. I had to be prompted in the chat. First of all, tomorrow there is the follow-up video on this guitar. This Sire Larry Carlton S7 Super Strat style guitar, HSS Strat. 10 a.m. in the morning UK time. Thank you very much, Nigel. You're a gentleman and a scholar. So the follow-up video on that is going up on tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Then Sunday's video is a bit of blues. And the solo is the reason I put the video, but the more important part of that video is there is an announcement about a new service I'm going to be offering. So if you're curious about that and you like blues guitar, make sure you watch Sunday's video, 5 p.m. UK time on Sunday. Then on Monday, we are looking at, and I'll be a bit cryptic here, we are looking at a guitar solo, as is usual for a Monday video. And the guitar solo in question is one that was featured in a long-running 1980s TV advertising campaign for a certain brand of lager. You know, so that kind of ties in nicely with this evening, doesn't it? So anybody who wants to guess what that one might be, a 1980s tune that was used in a TV lager ad. Tuesday, what we're doing on Tuesday? Yes, I'm doing another video about my favorite YouTube channels, you know, because I don't get to watch a lot of YouTube, but basically ones that I've been watching for a while, but have sort of slipped through the net when I've been talking about my favorite YouTube channels in previous my favorite YouTube channel videos. I think this is the 4th video that I've done on this topic. So some good suggestions there. When I do these YouTube video, my favorite YouTube channel videos, you know, people often say, well, why don't you mention this or why don't you mention that? Well, I mean, do you really need me to tell you that Paul Davids has a fantastic channel, or that Phil McKnight has a fantastic channel, or that Rick Beato has a fantastic channel? You don't need me to tell you that. You probably all know that already. So I'm going for kind of the stuff that you might have missed, basically, just hoovering up the crumbs, essentially. So that's Tuesday's video. On Wednesday, we are looking at basically a way of possibly inspiring you to play a little bit more creatively, challenging yourself to kind of step outside your comfort zone. That is the thrust of Wednesday's video. Then on Thursday, what am I doing on Thursday? Oh, yes, we are looking at, let me show you. We're looking at this delicious guitar on Thursday. This is a Samick Greg Bennett Royale guitar. It looks pretty high-end, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a budget semi-acoustic, and it's been very, very generously loaned to me by the chap who built this guitar, the one that you saw yesterday, this offset parts caster guitar. Peter, the chap who built that guitar, has loaned me a couple of guitars because he basically he wants to see me make videos about them, and that Samick is one of them. So that's Thursday's video, and then on Friday we're back on the beer again. Hi John, could you do a video on the Reeling in the Years main solo? There's so many versions of this, but none seem quite right. Eventually, yes, I will, mate. I did a Steely Dan video, solo video fairly recently, and that was Ricky Don't Lose That Number. And I do like to kind of, give a few months at least between kind of returning to the same artist. The best analysis I've seen of the Reeling in the Years solo is, have you seen Warren Hewitt's channel, Produce Like a Pro, Produce Like a Pro, where he does a breakdown of Reeling in the Years on that channel. Songs That Change Music, I think, is the, it's basically kind of a bit like Rick Beato's series that's kind of what makes this song great. And Jamie Humphries does a fantastic breakdown of the solo on there, which, as far as I can tell, is absolutely blob on accurate. So if you get impatient waiting for me to get round to doing that video, then check that one out. Let's just have a look at the chat here, see what's been going on. Scrolling back up. Hail John Robson, the guitarist. Well, thank you, Time Prophet. Karma Chameleon for the song. No. No, not Hofmeister, Follow the Bear. No. Good evening, Dave Morgan says, greetings from Ireland. Boston, More Than a Feeling. No, that wasn't used in a beer advert. No, I'll put you out your misery. The brand of lager was Tennant's Lager, and a Scottish brand of lager, and a Scottish band, Big Country, actually re-recorded one of their songs, One Great Thing, and changed the lyrics to kind of fit the ad for the lager. It's a Scottish band changing the lyrics of their song for to advertise lager. That's properly Scottish, isn't it? That. As a guitarist, I'm not big on keyboard players. I must make an exception for Keith Emerson. He took it to another level. He'd be sadly missed. Yes, indeed. Good old Tennant's Super. Yes, I'm well acquainted with that, Aussie. Indeed. John, have you tried Harley Benton leads? I haven't, actually. And the reason I haven't is because it's never really occurred to me that I didn't know they made leads. Maybe I did, I don't know, but it's never been kind of at the front of my mind that they made leads. And I mean, let's face it, the reason you buy a Harley Benton is because you're after something cheap, you're after a bargain, and a guitar lead isn't something that usually breaks the bank anyway. So I just tend to what have I got at the moment? I think it's a Planet Waves lead I'm using at the moment. Excuse me, more beer, I need a top up. Get ready to shout, Flake. Have you ever covered Phrygian and the Egyptian scale? I did a series that ended not that long ago, actually, on all of the major scale modes, and I covered the Phrygian in that. I don't think I've done the Egyptian scale. I did I've done various videos on harmonic minor and its modes, and I did a video not that long ago, actually, certainly this year, but a few months ago, on the enigmatic scale, which is almost impossible to write tuneful music in. Yes, indeed, Flake. It's this carling. It pours like washing up liquid. And if I was being uncharitable, I would say it doesn't taste that different as well. It's fine. It's there's nothing wrong with a drop of carling. So let me just close down a window there. Double flake, yes indeed. Needs must, I'm afraid. I have to cut back on the alcohol, and as I've said, I'm cutting back on the alcohol in the beer rather than the amount of beer. Flake and you concentrate. Mega. Yes, yes, indeed. There we go. That's why the T-shirt is there. Yeah, you've just done the same with some hobgoblin, have you, Pete? Yes. Thing about hobgoblin is I do like it, but it tends not to like me. It's I'm like death warmed up the next day, to be honest. Yes, indeed he did, Dave. John Lord played his Hammond through a Marshall stack, which there's on that. Let me grab the webcam here. Don't usually do this, but you can see that Electro-Harmonix C9 pedal there. That has a setting on it, which basically it turns your guitar into a Hammond organ, amongst other things. Evening, Scott Guitars. Evening, Dan. How are you, mate? Yeah, there's a setting on there called Lord Purple, which is very much a John Lord sound. And the trick for that is you have to put it through some kind of Marshall plugin, or else it sounds a bit kind of wishy-washy and feeble. But as soon as you put it through, like, you know, bias amp or something like that with a Marshall kind of sound dialed in, it absolutely comes to life. Oh, you're welcome, Pete. It's hard to make a flake with wine. Oh, dear me. Are you on the wine tonight, are you, Johnny? Says Johnny Random. Yeah, again, wine. I am blessed or cursed, make up your own mind, in that I tend not to get hangovers. As long as I remember to glug down a pint of water before I go to bed, I'm absolutely fine the next day. You know, I'm just not even the shadow of a hangover the next day, unless I've been drinking wine. If I drink wine, if that's all that's available, hello, my phone's pinging. Excuse me, live TV and all of that. Yes, let me just put you on silent. If I've been, you know, drinking wine, if I've had enough drink to lose me common sense, you know, because you know that happens, don't you? And somebody says, let's open the wine. I'll go, okay, then, you know, always rough as a rough thing the next day. Wine is evil, says Phil. I have one of those curly leads. It's dodgy, but I won't get rid of it because it was given to me by someone who's no longer with us. Well, yes. By the way, Malcolm, did you get me email, mate? I do apologise. It took me till today to get back to you. But as I say, the week got away from me big time this week. John, have you fed the dog? Yes, Ian, let's put you up on screen, mate. There we go. Yes, Ian has a lesson with me on a Wednesday. And, you know, if the wife's at work and I forget, the dog is often scratching at the door when it's Ian's lesson, because Ian's lesson is exactly the same time as I need to feed the dog. But yes, he's been fed and he's been for a good old long walk around the park today, chasing squirrels. I don't know what he'd do with them if he ever caught one, but it's squirrels 1, dog 0 today. They just run away, and this one today it ran away from him and ran up a tree and was chucking kind of, I don't know, peanut kind of shells down at him or something like that. It was really taking the mick out of him. Oh, what's that, Pete? Okay, a bit random, but I've just discovered Glenn Campbell and I'm trying to learn Wichita Lineman. Any chance some Glenn Campbell lessons, different genre videos? Yes, I am thinking very much along those lines. The problem with teaching, you know, full songs is that you just run kind of on YouTube, at least, is that you just run slam dunk into that, you know, that whole copyright thing. and you know, so I've got to be careful about that. But certainly on Patreon, I'm going to start doing more complete songs, and you know, I would look that there are so many songs with great chord sequences that I regularly talk about in lessons as an example of this particular bit of theory or that bit of songwriting technique or something like that. So I would love to, I mean, Starman by David Bowie, that's a masterclass in songwriting when you pick that apart. While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles, again, another really clever chord sequence. And I would love to do that sort of thing on YouTube, but it's, you know, the amount of time and effort that goes into a video like that, and then just to have it demonetized, it's, you know, I'm essentially working for free if I'm doing that, and who can afford to do that? Best drunken eBay purchase. Oh, let's have that up on screen. Now, there's a topic of conversation. Best drunken eBay purchase. For me, it's a tie between a Marshall 6100 head, SGB audio and amp, or Alden Zemetis copy. Yeah. I don't think I've ever really done too much drunken eBay buying, mainly because when I'm drunk, I'm nowhere near a computer. The only thing I've got is my phone, and I don't have eBay on my phone. You know, for that very reason, as it happens. So, you know, it's, you know, just I don't really have that problem. But that 6100 amp head, was that the anniversary model? Because I used to have the combo version of that, and it was a gorgeous amp. I think it was the 6101 combo, the 30th anniversary 3-channel amp in the blue livery. Beautiful sounding amp. When it worked, the damn thing was so unreliable, I might as well have given it pocket money. Where are we? Space Oddity by Bowie is pretty hard to play. I keep fluffing the rundown. Yeah, you see, these are all the things that, as I say, I'm going to try to start doing on Patreon. And I don't like putting kind of stuff like that behind a paywall, but it's not. It's just a case of, well, I have to earn some money from the time and effort put in to doing these kind of things, and YouTube will just demonetize it. So that's why it's going to have to, that sort of stuff's basically going to have to go up there. Yes. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about It Bites. John, I've recently got back into It Bites again. Fantastic band and some quite complex stuff going on in their music. Who else had that album, Big Lad in the Windmill, I think it was called? I discovered on YouTube a couple of weeks ago an old Channel 4 documentary called, I think it was called Twang Bang Kerrang or something like that. It was a 1986 Channel 4 documentary about the electric guitar. And It Bites were one of the bands that were quite heavily featured in that. And Frank Dunnery, what an amazing player he is. I mean, I've not heard of him since It Bites, but, you know, it was round about that time that I was starting to develop that kind of, this is 86, I was starting to develop that sort of twiddly hammer-on pull-off sort of style that I use, which I later discovered was referred to as legato. And all of the other kind of flashy whiz-kid guitarists who were the kind of the talk of the guitar magazines at the time were all of the kind of fast pickers like Tony McAlpine, Al Di Meola, and sweepers like Yngwie. And I'm just never been particularly strong on that kind of thing. But there was this guy who was playing in a much, much more accelerated and advanced manner, but he was playing this kind of fast hammer-on pull-off style that I sort of went with. And to me, just seeing him do that sort of legitimized it for me. It was like, okay, so you don't have to play fast by, kind of picking. And that was a big boost to my sort of self esteem, I guess. Yes. Oh, what you been buying, Steve? Japanese Autotone or some bonkers sample player pedal by Korb? Miku stomp worth a fortune now. Um, yes, indeed. We're talking about drunken eBay purchases here, are we? Interesting interview with Steve Lukather saying that Van Halen did the Beat It solo and Lukather did all the other guitar parts but wasn't given the solo to hear beforehand. Turned out okay. Yeah, I knew that Lukather did, all of the other guitar parts, and they just hired Eddie for the solo, which, it makes me think, well, I'm sure Steve would have turned in a passable performance on that, at least, I mean, just listen to the fade out solo on Rosanna. Dear me, what a solo that is. Oh, well, thank you, Vince. Let me put you up on screen. At £2.50 a month, your Patreon is great value, money well spent. Well, thank you so much for saying that. It's, I mean, people tell me all the time, including Mr. Hoggart there, who's in the chat, that I need to put my prices up. But, I'm charging the prices I'm charging because this is what gives me, kind of a decent, well, reasonably good standard of living, to the point where these days I can afford to, just treat myself every now and again. Bit of a spoiler alert here. That Mexican Strat that I had, that I wasn't too, it was okay, but I wasn't very sorry to see it go. This one's going nowhere. So you'll find out why in the video tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. I bought a Music Man sub bass for 150 quid 9 years ago while drunk. One of the best purchases I've ever made. Well, there you go. In vino veritas, as they say. Oh, dear me, the Icicle Works. Ian McNabb. I remember them. Yeah. Gosh, I remember sort of kind of vaguely knowing of them, and then round about the time when the Old Grey Whistle Test just changed its name simply to Whistle Test, in the 80s at some point, they did a live session on there, and they were excellent. They're really, really good. Then that Saturday afternoon show on Radio 1. You remember years ago they used to kind of get all the teeny boppers out the way on a Saturday afternoon on Radio 1 and play good music. Richard Skinner or Johnny Walker or one of those things. Well, again, Ian McNabb from the Icicle Works just came in and did a live session there, just him and an acoustic guitar, and it was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to have to be looking them up on Spotify. Thank you so much for reminding me. Be careful, John. 10 becomes 20 before you know it. What do you mean, mate? I'm not sure. You're probably referencing something that I've said that's kind of fallen out my mouth and I've forgotten what I said. Apologies for that. All from a bloke who said a while ago, I'm done with buying guitars. How many is it now? Well, let's count up. There is the Sire Larry Carlton. There's Blondie over there in the corner, the Scott guitar, which is the best guitar I've ever owned, without a shadow of a doubt. Then there's the Harley Benton Gilmore copy up there, which you haven't seen me playing that for a while because it needs some work doing on the frets, and unfortunately I'm going to have to take the fret zealot off to do that. There's me bass. Does that count? There's the Frankenstein Telecaster. There's the Harley Benton PRS copy. There's the acoustic. There's the Nashville Telly. There's let's turn the camera. Oh, you can see it anywhere. The Sub-Zero P90 semi-hollow Telecaster. There's the only single cut that I've ever had, that has really stolen my heart. This one, and it's a Harley Benton. And then, of course, the most recent acquisition, the offset parts caster that Peter gave me and built for me. So that's how many I've got at the moment. I am going to be thinning the herd a little bit. You can see up on, if I just tilt the camera up a little bit, you can see on the P90 Telecaster there's a bit of paper under the strings. That bit of paper says sold on it. I've recently sold that, but well, agreed to sell it, but the chap's not paid me the money yet. So that one will be leaving the building sometime soon. It's a nice guitar, but again, just meh. I can get all the sounds that does out of the signature guitar. So it's like, well, why do I need it? Again, maybe I'd had a couple of beers when I bought that. So does that? But that wasn't an eBay purchase. John, you said your favourite Strat is a HSS. Why not get a John Robson signature model of that? Well, because I've already got a signature model guitar, really, that I run home to. That's the guitar that is just the go-to guitar for anything. It's, you know, the HSS Strat is for when I need stuff that has the power of a humbucker and a trem. And, you know, that's what this does for me here. It is kind of rekindling my my kind of interest in Strats, but much as I love this guitar, I don't think it's ever going to be. I don't think any Strat style guitar is ever going to be the go-to instrument. Why does a fret zealot sound like a terrorist? Yeah, so I'm absolutely over the moon with the twin humbucker Telly. It's like when basically the few holes that are in the sonic palette that I can't deal with on the Telly, like anything where I need a trem, or anything where I need that sort of quacky, out of phase, stratty kind of tone. That's what that guitar's for. And it's got a lovely neck on it. And I suspected all along you were smitten with that Larry Carlton Strat. Yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful guitar. And, well, I won't give it away any more spoilers because then you won't need to watch the video tomorrow. But there's a really cracking solo, even though I say so myself, that I did with that guitar. Only Strat I ever owned was a Mexican HSS. May get or make another. Well, you know, you could always make one, Dan. You know, you are pretty good at making guitars. But if you don't have the time because you're too busy making other people's version of my signature guitar, then just get one of those Larry Carlton Sires. You will not be disappointed, mate. What about these new Mexican... Let's put you up on screen, mate. What about these new Fender Player Plus that came out? Cash grab or worth it? Well, it pains me to say so because I have enormous brand loyalty for Fender guitars. I love Telecasters, and you know and Strats were my favorite guitar style of guitar for many years, but there are pros and cons to that Sire guitar, and there are pros and cons to the Fender Player Plus. For instance, the Fender Player Plus Stratocasters have noiseless pickups. The Sire guitar doesn't have noiseless pickups, but then again, the Sire guitar has a roasted maple neck and abalone inlays on the neck, and the Fender doesn't. So, you know, you can kind of make pros and cons either way. So they are roughly comparable, but the only thing that they're not comparable on is price. The Fender Player Plus series is, give or take, about 800 quid. I paid 430 for that. So, you know, in Johnny Robbo kind of mathematics, that's double the price just to have the word Fender on the headstock. And much as I love Fender as a company, as I say, I have enormous brand loyalty to them. I just can't make that leap of thinking, well, it's worth twice as much. I just can't. Where are we? Could you do a video about your favorite turnarounds, a much ignored skill? Yeah, that's something that's in the pipeline, actually. Not specifically turnarounds, but I am going to do, you know, basically a series on blues licks, and turnarounds will kind of certainly be in there. It's I'm just kind of planning that at the moment, because, you know, it's like, how do you make a 10-minute video about one lick? And if you do too many licks in the same video, then it becomes information overload. So I'm kind of planning that at the moment. Hi, John. Thinking about getting a Yamaha SLG 200S. I must admit, I don't know that model, mate. But Johnny Robbo should be trademarked. Yes, there's... excuse me, more beer. There's plenty of people who said that Johnny Robbo should be at the beginning of a sentence, but the sentence... Desert Island 3 items to take. What would they be? Obviously, one's going to be a guitar, isn't it? Then it depends what facilities are on the desert island, really. Am I allowed Wi-Fi on the desert island, or a decent, you know, kind of 4 or 5G signal? Because if I am, then I'm taking a Kindle. And get ready to shout, Flake. This is a really awful pour. I'm going to have to let that settle. So yeah, a guitar, a Kindle, or like an unlimited supply of books to read, and then I guess it would have to be, you know, some method of listening to music as well. So yeah, that would be, you know, my 3 items for a desert island. Did a desert island albums video with our good friend Mr. Hoggart a little while ago. So you might want to check that out, and you'll see what 8 albums we would choose to be marooned with on a desert island. I prefer my vintage Telly to the Fender. Yeah, vintage. Those vintage V6. Oh no, it's the V52 for the Telly, isn't it? Those vintage V52s are great guitars, has to be said. Oh, what was that about? Sorry, I missed that one. Let me just scroll back up again. What about a top 10 video of what not to do for us newbies? PS, playing 20 years and and still mince. Okay. I would like to see a video tutorial on slap bass for guitarists who never played a bass, Davey 504 style. Yeah, if you're looking for a slap bass tutorial, then you're talking to the wrong bloke. I've tried playing slap bass many years ago. I was in a band with a bass player who, you know that kind of thing when you're in between songs in the rehearsal room, and you know everybody's playing, the drummer's playing his favorite. In the case of our drummer, his favorite fill was the Brian Downey Chinatown fill, and the bass player was always doing his favorite Mark King sort of slap stuff, and I asked him to show me one time, and yeah, I just couldn't. It's witchcraft. I can't do that at all. So, you know, as I say, how about a Steve Clark Def Leppard lesson, John? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll stick it on the list. Now I've got a guitar with you know a decent humbucker in it and a trem. That's I should really start looking at some of that 80s stuff, I guess. Seriously, a what not to do video would save me and others new to guitar a lot of heartache. Right, okay. That will crop up, I promise you, in the Wednesday slot at some point. I've got, as I say, this coming Wednesday's video is already uploaded, basically, and it's just scheduled. Then I've got the Wednesday after video planned, and I'm kind of putting the bits and pieces together for that one. But yeah, probably after that I'll do a kind of tutorial style video on pitfalls to avoid. How about that? Yeah, we'll do that. Anyone know the reason why? Anyone know the reason we? I've got to put you up on screen. I can't read it down there. It's I need better glasses. Anyone know the reason we can't buy songs with the individual tracks on them? I would definitely buy my favourite songs to listen to the individual tracks, and also makes transcribing a bit easier. Yeah, I mean, what you're asking for there is for artists to actually release the stems, aren't you? I was watching a Glenn Fricker video a while ago, and he was talking about the same topic, and it was, there was one band that he mentioned that were doing that, but I don't know. I mean, I suppose there's the worry that some people might have that, for instance, if you wanted a backing track for a song, rather than paying for the backing track, you could just get the individual songs. You could just make your own backing track from those songs. You could, kind of. It would be very, very open to theft. I suspect is the main reason. People could quite easily sample a guitar part or a bass line or a drum part if it were isolated, but given that music is essentially a free commodity these days, and who pays for music? I pay for music via a monthly subscription to Spotify. That's all I really listen to these days. I've still got on my MP3 collection, and I've still got, kind of a bookcase on the landing there full of CDs. But when I want to listen to music, I just go to Spotify. Don't forget about the white telly. Oh, do you know what, Colin? Thank you for reminding me. I did. That had slipped my mind. Yes. Yeah, we'll have a little conflab over email. Colin, the absolute more of a Telecaster addict than I am, has a new project that he's just completed, and he's very kindly offered it to me to do a review, so that'll be coming up on the channel at some point here. I'm just absolutely snowed under with guitars to do videos on at the moment. There's another one just turned up today. Somebody just gave me, well, not gave me, but gave Zoe's place another HSS Strat. So that's going to be a video that's coming up in the near future. And as I say, Colin's Telecaster. So I'm a busy lad. I am a busy lad. But yes, thank you for reminding me, Colin. It's much appreciated, mate. We will, as I say, over the weekend, I'll ping you an email. Telly's, love the sound, but never been my favourite shape. May change in the future. Yeah, well, given the fact that I've just, let's get this one up again. One style of guitar that I have been vehemently anti over the years is the Fender offset shape, and then Peter made me this, and I just love it. It's just, it's, for some reason, once you strip away all of that kind of, well, as I said in the video yesterday, once you strip away all the kind of odd scratch plate and buttons and switches and roller controls and everything, it's an incredibly sleek looking design, and I really do like this. So if somebody like me, who's always been, let's say, a bit of an offset Fender skeptic, can be won over by a guitar of that shape, then anything can happen. Where are we? Yeah. Oh, who's talking about the hamsters there? Gosh, I saw them live years ago. Uh, you know, Snail's Pace Slim was was I seem to remember was what were they called? There was Snail's Pace Slim. There was the Reverend Otis Elevator, and I can't remember the name of the drummer, but you know. Yeah, I agree with you, Dan. Pete's done a great job, yes, but I mean, even he admits that, you know, he's not a guitar builder in your league, mate. You make works of art rather than works of art that happen to be guitars. Pete made a beautiful guitar, but, the neck is an off-the-shelf neck, so to speak. So, that's not what you do, is it, mate? The Offset was nice. I also dig the Paranormal series. Yeah, no. I think we'll have to agree to differ on that one, mate. Oh dear me, this is going down rather well tonight. By the way, you all know what I'm on tonight. It's the Carling once again. Has to be said, not my first choice of beer, but it needs must, as I was saying earlier. What's everybody else's tipple this evening? What you're all on? I know Johnny Random's on the wine tonight, but and who was it? Was on the I think it was Pete that's on the Hobgoblin. What's everybody else swigging tonight? Where are we? Sorry, that just scrolled up then, and I was reading it. Does Pete do a Floyd Rose too? I don't know. Punjana tea, coffee as usual. Brewdog Punk IPA, gin and tonic on holiday in Scotland. Oh, you lucky man, having a holiday. We haven't had a holiday for, 2015 was the last time we got away anyway. We are planning going away next year. Bavaria alcohol-free as usual. Bristol Butcombe original. Never heard of that one. And I love Ringwood best, but my missus prefers Headbanger. Aldi Weissbier with a whiskey chaser about to wreck the house. Glen Morangi for dessert. Oh dear me, it's going to get messy for some of you lads tonight, isn't it? Aldi Weissbier, I've never heard of that one. I was on the Aldi stuff a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? Can't remember. The Helgen Brow or something like that it's called. Just a cheap imitation Pilsner copy. The Harley Benton of Pilsners. Still, what's that? Still on Ray and Nephew and Coke for the Mojo. I'm not sure what that is, mate. Maker's Mark. Are you on, Dan? Fair enough. Oh dear me. David Daly's on water and you're still working. Well, water on a Friday night. Dear me. That's you're making my heart weep. Aldi has lots of knockoff beers, yes. In my metal days, back in the 80s and 90s, I was into the Super Strat style guitars. But these days, I prefer the traditional styles again. Must be getting old. Well, if you're a gentleman of a certain age like I am, I was 13 at the dawn of the 1980s, and I was 23 at the end of the 80s. So the 80s was very much my adolescent years. And every month, Guitar Player magazine and Guitarist magazine some new pointy headstock Floyd Rose locking trem, skinny necked thing would come out, and it would be described as the pinnacle, the best guitar ever made, the absolute peak of guitar evolution. And when you're a young man, you're impressionable and you fall for these kind of things and you lust after these styles of guitars. I had a whole slew of those kind of guitars, and eventually I decided in about 93, 94, nah, this isn't for me. And I went to just a bog standard Strat that I used for many years. And, then I got the first Gordon Smith, and suddenly I'm kind of playing a design from guitars designed in the 1950s and enjoying myself a lot more. And then, later when I made the switch to Telecasters, my thoughts on that style of pointy headstock super Strat. As I described in the video, guitars that make me go, nah, hair metal planks, they're not my favourite style of guitar. John, did you see All About Telly's on that pedal show? Worth a watch. I watched part of it, mate, and then I got busy and had to start answering emails and stuff, so it's still there in me kind of to-do list to finish watching that video, yes, but I will catch up with it. Floyd Rose locking trems and locking nuts. I absolutely hated them when working in a guitar shop. I agree with you, Anton. Somebody actually, hang on. Somebody, when I did that guitars that make me go nah video, somebody left a comment underneath that. I forget who, I do apologize. But they basically said, if you are, some kind of world dominating, rock star guitarist, and you've got a whole army of guitar techs fettling up your instruments, then a guitar with a Floyd Rose on it makes sense. But if you're just kind of, your average Joe, then the amount of time and maintenance that goes into those, it's just not worth the hassle. And that absolutely sums up my thoughts on them. They're just such a high maintenance thing for me anyway. That's what I've found. I know other people, recollections and experiences will vary. And if you love that style of guitar, then, good luck to you. God bless you. But it's not my cup of tea. Where are we? There's always something nice about grabbing an acoustic guitar and sitting in the backyard jamming, not having to worry about tone knobs or fiddly boxes. Yeah, I'll go with you on that. The title track to one of my albums, the Whiskey Made Me Do It. Check it out on Spotify. Go and have a listen, and I'll earn probably 0.03 of a penny for everybody who does that. But there's a track up there called The Whiskey Made Me Do It, which was, if you can see that Harley Benton acoustic in the corner there, that was the first acoustic guitar I'd owned in God knows how many years, and I thought I should really have an acoustic, so I bought a cheap one, a Harley Benton, and I'd had a few whiskies, and just started jamming this blues thing, and thought, I hope I remember that in the morning. That sounds really good. And miraculously, I did remember it, and it ended up becoming the title track of the album. And it was just such a refreshing thing to just pick up a guitar and not, as you say, not have to worry about, what pickup am I going to use? What amp models am I going to use? What preset? What this, what that? It was just pick up the guitar, play it, and and make some music. There is something to be said for that approach. What is the worst guitar ever? Well, funnily enough, I've got a video that I just finished doing today, which will be going up a week on Tuesday, where I answer that question. So I'll keep me powder dry on that topic until, as I say, a week on Tuesday. I've listened to both your albums on Spotify. Enjoy my 0.1 pence. Thank you very much, Bass at Night. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Cool. I didn't know it was on Spotify. I'll download it. Well, thank you, mate. You're again a gentleman and a scholar. Anyway, excuse me. I'm just about to crack open my last beer, which is perfect timing because I've got a curry turning up. I've got the curtain open there, just in behind the monitor, and I'm keeping an eye out for the curry delivery man coming because it is curry night tonight in the Robson house. Oh dear me, look at this. I don't know why I bother. Why don't I just turn the can upside down and just empty it? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Yes, come on, flake. Let's John, Creative Guitar Studio is my favorite after you. Yeah, great. I mean, one of my favorite YouTube guitar channels. Thank you, by the way. Is oh gosh, his name escapes me, and that's really embarrassing. Signals Music Studio, that's him. And he's just a consummate guitar teacher, I think. He's just I whenever I get the chance, I always watch his videos, and I'll watch them 2 or 3 times because he is just Lizio, he's called. He's a fantastic guitar teacher, and excuse me, knocking the mic there. Just really knowledgeable and puts it across in such a clear and concise manner. So if you don't know Signals Music Studio, go and check him out. He's a fantastic YouTuber. Have you seen Bernth's YouTube channel? He is some kind of wizard. I can't say that I have, mate. Never mind, Flake John. That's a 4-pack of twirls. Yes, indeed. I'm still fascinated by how a chord can sound completely different depending on the chords and notes played before and after it. Yes, it's because we listen in 3 dimensions. You listen to a piece of music, and your perception of a note even is coloured by the note that came before it, let alone the chord or the chords that came before it. I'm just gonna have to make some room in this glass. Excuse me. Yes. I love Paul David's collab videos. Also Helen Ibe. Don't think I know Helen Ibe, but I do. That Paul David's one where he got a bunch of non-metal players to make to come up with some metal riffs. That was a good one. I enjoyed that. So there is a guy called something like Tasty Guitar that does some great funk and soul rhythm lessons along with other stuff. I shall keep an eye out for him. So, excuse me, I've got a bit of windy pops. There we go. That's better. Let's have a scroll up and see what I've missed in the chat. John, do you a deal. You download our albums and I'll download yours. Okay, fair enough. You've all got my email address. It's in the description of all of the videos, including this one. So anybody that wants to send me some music, I'll happily download and listen to. And it's an idea for a video, isn't it? Actually, if you guys are all okay with the fact, I might do like John Robson reacts to viewers' music or something like that. It might go okay. We'll see that. Where are we? Miles Davis, it's not the note you play that's the wrong note, it's the note you play afterwards that makes it right or wrong. Brilliantly put, Vincent. Very similar to a quote by Louis Armstrong, who said, "There's no such thing as a wrong note, just a badly resolved note." And anyway, chaps, we've been on an hour or thereabouts, and I don't want to have to make a dash downstairs for the curry if the doorbell goes while I'm live on YouTube. So I think it's probably safe to wind things up here for the evening. Thank you once again, everybody, for turning up. As I always say, it never fails to stagger and amaze me that so many of you turn up every Friday evening to watch a fat, bald northern lad talk cobblers for an hour, but you keep doing it, and so will I, until you get sick of me. But for now, I'm going to pull the plug and say, time, gentlemen, please.